So for as a human, you need to run this job for 15 minutes. These models only run these jobs for 1 to 2 minutes. That's how much they can go. And after that, they got confused, their context got spoiled, and they stopped. That was the problem in 2025. Then everybody, like all my friends at research, and we looked at it and we said, you know what, this is great. And somebody asked me in a conference that what I want in 2026, or I want to solve for orchestration. I want an orchestration that can that can do a better job. Six, what is happening is each week or each month, this 1 minute is getting extended to 16 minutes to 6 hours to 15 hours. That means I can take on more and more jobs. Thank you for joining. This session is, I'm trying to give you guys a flavor of, hey, what it takes to build in this new world. And hopefully this camera will let me do that. But if not, then obviously I think you got an idea. That's my main objective today. I will show you how easy it has got to build things. And hopefully I can build something live today with all of you and take it to production as well. Not to the production that, 10,000 users can try, but I don't know, your ideas are so great that day one you get 10,000 users. I'm trying for last 1 year. Mahesh, I will talk about three things today. What are we going to do? 5 minutes over. Who am I? I'm a product leader that worked in big companies, Google, Microsoft, Meta. I'm in AI for last 10 years. I have built large language models. I have built frameworks to build agents. And then I have actually shipped agents at Google. Now I started my own company, and I'm pretty excited because we signed two new customers yesterday. So great job, Mahesh. I was going home and I was happy yesterday, and I don't know why. And then I was like, okay, maybe because we signed two customers, and it came after a long time, and both signed yesterday. So, and by the way, in last 6 months, we signed two other customers. Yesterday, we signed two. So that was a good deal. But that's what I'm doing these days. I'm trying to see how can we help companies see how they are investing in AI and give transparently impact of AI. And if there is no impact, helping them to bring impact. So that's the company I started. And that's what I'm doing these days. But more than anything else, what I'm super proud of the work I did in teaching. So I'm teaching for last 14 or 15 years. I used to teach these high school students at Eastlake High School. And these are CS students, and I used to teach them the first coding practice. So these are like 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th graders. And they used to have a lot of fun. You can see the Coke bottle there and all the fun. But they all learned and they cleared the APCS exam. That was my goal with them so that they can get college credits. And more than that, in that school, there was no teachers to teach computer science. And I always felt that without computer science, they will lack in their lives. So I did that for 4 years when I was in Redmond. Then I started teaching just free courses in the company. So I did free courses inside Microsoft. When I went to Facebook, I created a course with Manoj. Manoj was my engineering manager then, and he also started a company. He just lives three doors next to me. They are building, how can they build LLMs? How can they build video from prompts and optimize that? So he has started his own company. They got funded $10 million one day. That story, other day, for Manoj. But that's Manoj and me. We started a recommendation course inside Facebook. And since then, I'm trying to teach this course in Maven since 2023. I am doing these Friday sessions every Friday. And we try not to sell you expensive courses, but we will try to at least make sure that you have a path to a structured learning program as well. But that's the idea. And that's me. I've worked in large companies and I have a passion for teaching. Okay. Hopefully that's helpful. If that's helpful, then what are we going to do today? Okay. First, I will give you general patterns like why is building so important in 2026 while it was not important in 2024 or 2025. While 2026 become the year of builders, I will give you trends. I will give you all the insights I have. Then I will go and show you how to build a fully functional solution and take it to production in a way that at least 10 customers can try. And generally, by the way, these days we are building a lot of custom things. So if you can build for one customer, I think you can make money. And I will show you how to do that. And it's simple enough that people who have never coded in their life or don't even understand coding, I believe I should be able to take you there. So stay with me. If you are an expert, just tolerate me for those 5-10 minutes when I go to basics. But if you are not an expert, I think you will enjoy today's session because I tailored it like that. And in a world, then once you figured out that building is important, and then you have the capabilities to build, then I will give you share some secrets on what should you build or how can you figure out what to build, because that is more important than the first two steps. If we agree on that plan, let's get started. People have their notes. Okay, first thing, AI can build, but I thought that the tech can only predict next work and does not have or can have generic reasoning capabilities. That's the question. I got into these debates and these also. People challenge me a lot, and I get angry. So that was the session 2 days ago. But people can ask this question, right? You can have this question, which is, okay, Mahesh, I can understand AI can build. People are saying AI is writing our code, AI is building the whole companies, all that. But my understanding is these transformer-based models can only predict the next word. How can AI become so smart? Or is it so smart that it can build a whole app on its own or solve or run companies? Anybody? When I ask questions, you can answer, right? Do you agree with this? First of all, do we have better technology than predicting next words?
Yeah,
What
we
has
do.
happened?
We do,
Okay.
right, Mahesh? We have the chain of thought, and that evolution happened. So this is outdated.
Okay, Ram. Ram is saying chain of thought. Chain of thought is still a next prediction word. So we got next word predictors. See, I got two markers, and both are not working.
Yeah, but now they
That's
can
a bad planning.
now they can plan too, right?
But I got next word predictors, and they became really good. That's the Chat GPT in 2023. Okay, then as Ram is saying, we DeepSeek said that, hey, you know what? I also sold a lot of things saying that they can't reason. La Yaqun, who was the chief scientist at Facebook, has a very good talk on this guy podcast. The guy who wears white, Russian guy who wears a black suit, forgetting his name, and interviews
Lex
the
Friedman.
Alex Friedman.
Lex Fredman. Lex Fredman. Watch that podcast, La Yakun on Facebook. He talks about how these models are so bad at reasoning and they don't have reasoning capabilities, or even for a cat. How can you think they are smart? And he gave a lot of good examples, and that argument is really good. We all enjoyed it because that's what I was trying to tell the world, but the world was not listening. La Yakun did a good job, and then I have a session where I talk about the same things. Today, I'm just not going to talk about. I'm going to point you to that. But then DeepSeek R1 came and they said, you know what, we can hack it with chain of thought. So instead of actually predicting the word that answer your question, I can actually create a plan or create a chain of thought or chain of reasoning before I go and answer the questions. This is then we launch, then came the reasoning models. Remember OPT, uh, this 4O models from ChatGPT families? That was the reasoning model family. Then we started for some time branches, reasoning model or non-reasoning model. The reasoning model had this chain of thought. Non-reasoning models don't have chain of thought. Great. So now models can think or reason better with a hack, which is just saying that, hey, instead of answering the question, first come up with a plan to answer a question and then follow the plan. Great. Then what is the next bottleneck in the world where we want them to code like developers? And they were not coding in 2023. This is 2023. This is 2024. In 2025, what was the big challenge? Why can't I code in 2025? with these agents?
Multi-step, long horizon stuff.
Long words. Throw all the words that came to my head. Like throw everything. One will stick for sure. Okay, let's write them. I think answer is correct. What multi-step reasoning. So multi-step deduction is still an unsolved problem. So you can come up with chain of thought reasoning, but following those steps step by step, and if something fails, then creating this plan again or replanning and running these jobs for a long amount of time consistently was a challenge. The best in 2025, we can do these chain of thought and plan and reason and go through and try again. The jobs these agents could do is 1 to 2 minutes only. After that, their reasoning start breaking. And then if the reasoning starts breaking, then you cannot go and do the task. So if I go and say, hey, make a plan for your next interview. And by the way, you can read this Lex Friedman, this, and then I go away. You have to fill a lot of gaps in your head. You're like, okay, I need to go to the podcast. I need to get the Lex Friedman one. I need to look at Laia Kuhn. By the way, who's Laia Kuhn? The spelling is wrong. So Laia Kuhn, because I don't remember how to pronounce these French people. So, that spelling is wrong. So you see that you have filled all the gap in your head and you will keep filling them. And that will require you good 15 minutes to reach to this Laia Kuhn video, just the video. And then you have to take the insights from it and all that to solve the problem at hand, which is reasoning is good or not. So, for as a human, you need to run this job for 15 minutes. These models only run these jobs for 1 to 2 minutes. That's how much they can go. And after that, they got confused, their context got spoiled, and they stopped. That was the problem in 2025. Then everybody, like all my friends at research, and we looked at it and we said, you know what, this is great. And somebody asked me in a conference that what I want in 2026, or this was November, somebody said, and I said, I want to solve for orchestration. I want an orchestration that can that can do a better job than what we have today. And in 2026, what is happening is each week or each month, this 1 minute is getting extended to 16 minutes, to 6 hours, to 15 hours. So now what happens is, as a model which can predict next word, which can plan, I can also go and do a job for 15 hours. Yeah, you are a human, you are so cool, and you have all the connections in your neurons and you are trained on this job. So you can do it in 15 minutes. But give me 15 hours to solve the same problem, and I will find different ways. I will fail, I will plan again, I will try again, I will go and do the different things, and I can do it for 15 hours. That means I can take on more and more jobs, or I can do more and more jobs. And this is the idea that allows people to say in November that, hey, actually, the humans need not to code, because in code, I can check. I have a verification loop. I write code, same thing. I plan, I write code. If it fails, I create a better plan. I write again, I keep trying. And I will show you that loop when we go today. You got an idea how we reached here or what's happening in 2026, which is different than what is 2025 looked like, and why people are so worried or excited about this. I want you to stay both. I want you to stay excited about the future we all are going to build together, but I want you to worry about how much you know or how much you are learning every day, because there is a lot happening. And if you are not learning what is happening, I want you to be little worried, because I'm always worried if I'm not learning at the pace that the world is moving. Good. Then we took this out. So this is the idea. If you look at, this is the chart that shows how many hours these models can do. I have not looked at 4.7 yet, but I will look at 4.7 and show you, which only got released yesterday. But 4.6 can do this job at 50% chance of succeeding, 10 hours right here, right above 10-hour mark. So it can run the job for 10 hours without you doing anything, giving it a job, and it can do jobs without failing for 10 hours, and it has a chance of 50% or more succeeding. That's where the compute is. That's why Jensen said yesterday that every company revenue is directly proportional to the compute it has, nothing else. If you have more compute, you can have more intelligence. If you have more intelligence, you can build more products. If you build more products which are high quality, you can have more revenue. And he said nobody can stop compute stocks in the markets to stop like growing, because every company which wants to make revenue will require compute, and this is where the compute is. Same page. Read Jensen interview, he said that yesterday or day before. Okay, then what can they do? Anthropic is claiming that they build a C compiler, a complete C compiler. That's the link. I want you to read that. I want you to read OpenAI used Codex to grow agent first code base and wrote 1 million lines of code. And I want you to read Cursor, which ran its background agent. So they build it on top of these models just for coding, and they ran it for 24 hours. So now they can code for 24 hours with designing, building, and in those loops. Good. So seems like agents are going to code the future of humanity. Right? Same page. Means you can disagree with me, but I believe that to be true because I've seen it and I will show you. Okay. And hopefully, if you follow along, you will move a little bit towards me than wherever you are in your journey of believing or not believing these hypotheses. Okay, then if that's happening, then what's happening? CEOs are claiming that their companies can code. This is the number from Google, Microsoft saying 30%. Everybody has to say a bigger number in this trajectory to be a bigger company. So, Meta is saying 50%. Dario is saying 90%. And the maker of Claude Code is saying 100% of Claude Code team is basically using agents. We don't touch the code. Okay. Obviously, everybody has their own incentives. What is the reality? The reality is around 26 to 27% of the code is written by AI today. But that number was 20% or close to 20% last year. That is a huge number if you look at it. Like that means like we had engineers, 6 engineers, 1 PM. That means at least you can expect 2 agents coding for you in your teams this year. If they are not doing that, somebody else has those two leverage of those 2 developers that code 24 hours, 365 days. And that's happening in the industry today. Okay. What's the distinction? AI assisted code, AI generated code, and AI building the code on its own are the 3 different things that people have products for, and they are not equal. And I will show you some example of these. Great, then. How teams are expected to collapse? What will happen in this new world? AI is not replacing engineers. It's very hard for me to replace my engineers. I have, at this point, 10 engineers working for us, and they are irreplaceable. But actually, the senior people are really irreplaceable. The juniors are a little more pain to work with these days because the more amount that I need to spend training them, and then I have to deal with their vacations and everything. It's much less leverage for me than the AI agent that we are building. And if I give the senior person an AI agent and train them how to use them, I get more buck or more value from my money than training the juniors. So that's a clear thing that I have practiced or seen. There are 2 new roles you can think of. One is this idea of product engineering. So more and more people are trying to collapse the field of product and engineering. So engineers are learning what to build, how to talk to customers. If you talk about this guy who said 100% the code right, so Charney, right, the guy who made Claude Code, uh, he, I think some podcast people were saying, okay, if AI writes 100% of code, what are you doing? And he said, I talk to customers and I figure out what to build next. And I was like, yeah, sure. Uh, that was our job. So then That's what engineers are trying to get into product, and product managers are trying to get into engineering. And that field is collapsing. That I think is a good new role that you should all train for if you are going to be here or if you're growing to grow. Okay, then what is the impact on jobs? Only 60%. Product managers are more excited. Founders are the most excited people about AI, of course, because they see that now they can build things, they have ideas, and they can build and they can shout at people much louder than they could yesterday. Of course, they are the most excited people. The second most excited people are you folks. That's why Maven has number one following on PMs. Most marketing happens on PMs because they are most excited about AI. Because this is the first time they feel like they have an agency. They can go do things which they were always dependent on others to build it for them. They have ideas, they have the first insights into what the world is looking for, how the world works. They have a better model than an engineer or a designer, in my own perspective. And now you give them tools. That's why they are saying that my life is better with AI than same. Engineers are a little worried, designers are little less worried, so in between the spectrum. And that's happening. Okay, if that's happening, then this is the survey. Lenny did it. I'm just using it. And you will see me using everybody's survey most of the time because I try to build things and I don't get time to do surveys. Uh, more PM jobs than less PM jobs, at least in the first phase of this wave. We are seeing all the positive signs that people are getting paid more, people are getting more roles. And at least in last 16 months, what I have seen is most people are able to find roles that they are interested in or they want to break into. It doesn't happen in 6 weeks. It takes 6 months to a year cycle, but people are getting calls. The positive sign I see in a job market is when you are getting interviews, and I get a lot of calls saying, hey, I have an interview. I have this case study. I have this case study. I have an interview. After that, it's more like subjective journey, and that takes a while. Okay. Engineering is also evolving. People are going, PM is going from spec writer to constitution writer to agent orchestrator. Engineers are going from code writer to evaluators to agent directors. So you will orchestrate agent and they will make sure that these agents do a perfect job, and then the movie will be created. So imagine you as a writer of the movie and they are the director of the movie. Good. And you should understand how to orchestrate these agents. And hopefully we can do that next. How can you build anything without knowing how to code? That's the most exciting part of this session. So if you got excited or at least you understood a little bit in the first section, let's get to it. Let's spend 10 or 15 minutes. Two or three, two or three things you need to understand when you come to building. I have this lab which I will walk you through on board, and then I will show you how can you do this, and we'll give you the resources so you can follow along also. Okay, I want to build. I am a PM. I know basics, but I stopped coding 10 years ago. I have not coded anything since then. How can I be successful in this new world? Okay, first learn some basics. If you want to code, four things. Uh, what is front end, back end? Can everybody understand front end, back end? Give me a hands up if you understand what is front end, what is back end of an app. Okay, Ram, Seema, Derek. Anybody who has not done our course, give me a hands up if you understand for front end, back end. Okay, most of you understand front end, back end. Okay, give me an example of front end, back end that any 5-year-old can understand front end and back end. Brenda, you don't give. Somebody from the cohort give.
Front end.
Let's pick on them because they sound like they have a lot of questions. So when you get into 15 minutes, they ask very hard questions. So let
Restaurant
them.
and kitchen.
Kamal, raise her hand, man.
Restaurant and kitchen. Kitchen
Great.
is where you make the recipe, and restaurant is where you go and sit
Okay,
and eat.
so this is the waiter, and this is where our friends are sitting, and this is the front end, and this is the messy kitchen, 20 people working, sweating. cooking, there is fire here, all this is backend. We draw a wall and then we show all the pretty things here, all the things here. And behind the scenes, we have all the messy code, everything which doesn't work. Or if we have to scale, we can say, okay, this guy is just cut the vegetables. These are only cook. These are only gonna serve or check. These are my checks or tests. And then here is my final garnishing. And then here is my chef looking at it. And then I can make a contract, which I can say application programming interface, which is my interface with the front end. So front end just talks to me, which is this table we have put up, and I put my dishes here and on top of the bill. And then this front end can come in. This is my waiter, which is front end. It looks at the order bill, and if there is a plate, it picks up, and on the order, it written which plate, and Kamal gets chole bhature. Good. I think we all got it. So that's the backend. The backend idea is that anything that needs to scale or needs to do the real work can be in backend. The front end idea is that anything that customer need to look, feel, do remains in front end. If you take the analogy and actually start building Facebook feed that you look at or the app, all that is front end. Behind the scenes, there are models running, there is data capture, there is authentication happening, there is this idea of tests on the next build. All this is the backend functions. Okay. There is one last thing in understanding coding. There is front end, there is back end. There are two different engineers, different technologies for front end and back end. And don't need to get into detail because agents will figure that out. But to prompt them, you need to understand these two concepts: what is front end, what is back end. Okay, if you understood front end and back end, there's one more idea, which is this idea of the bill, the transaction that happened. If I want to audit this restaurant or if I want to do accounting on this restaurant, I have to store all the receipts and the things. That's the idea of a database. In this restaurant, this square thing where you order creates the transactions, which is like, hey, this order was placed, this was the server, this was the time it took to cook the dish, this was the feedback from Kamal, 5-star. All that is getting stored somewhere, right? So end of month, as a restaurant operator, I can go and say how much money I made, which customers gave me 1 rating, who is my bad server so that I can fire some people, who are my awesome servers who I can give more money. All these needs to be stored somewhere. And that table storage is called databases. And the language, like I go and I query things, same way, there is a query language called standard query language, which you use to query these databases about, hey, how many servers I have, how many servers were on holidays this month. All this is a standard query language. So remember 3 things: front end, back end, databases, and a language to query it. Good. There is language in which you can write front end and back end. That language can be both Python. So Python is a coding language. You can write your front end and back end code. Plus, if you understand SQL, you have a killer profile. Just knowing this, you have a killer profile. Now you can use any AI tool to code for you. Good. Everybody same page? Front end, back end, and SQL. Good. Databases and SQL. This is pretty much all you need to learn in 2026 about coding. This is all the engineering you need to do. Rest everything agents will take care of. Okay. If you understood this much, let's take on building. Park your questions. I will take questions in 10 minutes. Just give me 10 minutes. Let me build something and share some ideas on what you actually need to go build. And then I'm all yours on questions. Put your questions on Scrumler. Okay, great. Now, I am talking to a company and created this PRD for myself. PRD is product requirement document. These PMs who have nothing else to do in their lives, those who have nothing, like they don't have a love for their kids, they go out in the world, they look for problems, and then write it in some product requirement document called PRD. So here is a problem. There is an interesting thing about IFRS 16 compliance. What is this compliance about? There is this compliance. I was talking to one of our customers and they told me about this compliance called IFRS 16 audit. This is a compliance that anybody from finance background? IFRS? What is it? Anybody
Me,
knows that?
Mahesh, International Financial Reporting Standards.
Great. And what is the reporting? Why it is a mandatory requirement now? The 16 specifically.
Well,
You
I
don't
don't
know
know the
me.
16 one.
Great. Let me give you this. So what happened is, if you were reporting your numbers, and if you bought a plane, if I bought a plane, which I want to buy, by the way, I never wanted to buy a fancy car. I wanted to buy a plane. So all of you, please pay me a lot of money, which Marvel said I'm really good at. But by the way, we don't sell our courses in this Friday session. So the idea is that if I bought a plane, then my plane will be as a debt in my reporting. Great. But if I went before IFRS 16, which is a very recent update in the financial reporting code, if I leased the plane, then I need not to report that debt. So what companies did, they took a lot of things on leases. The whole company was running on leases so that they need not to report any debt. And if you look at their balance statement, everybody is looking so positive, everything is healthy, they had no debt, but everything was in leases. Okay, then they updated IFRS 16, which says that, hey, you need to go and report everything that you have leased and what you owe month and month, and what is the impact of that on your balance sheets or on your profit loss. Great. Every audit requirement put a lot of pressure on every company. The problem is there are only 5% bad actors in economy. 95% people were playing it fair, but they have leases now. So I'm talking to a lot of real estate customers who are leasing buildings, and now they have to comply to this IFRS 16. They have to create this whole sheet. Everything they have in their lease, they have to put it into this format and submit it monthly reporting or quarterly reporting. So they have to do all this reporting, which is a hard job. Rachel is a compliance lead. She got this new requirement. Nobody's giving her an extra head. General counsel also need to go and make sure that all these risks and the tools we use are good, and senior associate wants to get done. The job to be done here is that IRF 16 deadline approaches. I want to generate a structured compliance report directly from our contract repository so I can submit an audit ready output to our external customer. When the auditor asks for a source clause behind subsec lease, when a new release is signed, I can do that. To generate baseline is this much, target time is this much, time frame 60 days post launch. I have created some success metrics. I have requirements. Good. All of you can write these. By the way, AI writes these also. So you can ask AI to write this, use my format, and AI will create this document for you for any problem that you're facing in your life or any problem your customers are facing. So you go talk to a customer, you write, you take the meeting notes, you put it a prompt saying, hey, create a PRD in this format that Mahesh gave me, and you will have a problem and a PRD. Great. Once you have a PRD, then what you can do is you can put it in a folder. Let me show you. So what you do is you create this project folder. So I created this project folder, and inside project, I have created this PRD folder, and I put this lease here. Okay, so this PRD lease compliance folder is here. It's inside my folder. Then I go to Claude Code. Everybody know what Claude Code is? You can install this Claude app on your desktop. If you install this, then you can go here and you can select Claude Code, or you can select Cowork. I am selecting Claude Code today. So you can go here, and if you paid them a lot of money, everybody wants money except us, right? But if you paid them $20, you can sign into this app. This is Claude app. And then you can switch from Cowork to Claude Code here. If you go to Claude Code, it asks you to give you or connect yourself to a folder. And what I have done is I have gone ahead and added that folder here, right? So all I have to do is point it to my PRD folder, and then it was done. Then it get my context, which is the PRD. Then I have my prompts. Those are very simple prompts. I just wrote them for all of you so you can follow along, and we will give you them also. So you will have the copy of these prompts. So these are my prompts. I will just prompt them and build the front end here. What is front end? The thing that you will look and feel and see. Good. So first step is creating a front end of the app. You as a product manager always relied on designers to create it. Now you can create it on your own. That's why the designer is a little more worried than you. They're not that excited than you are. So you can create a prompt. You can say, hey, here is an attached PRD. Build a functional, just the mocks for me. These are my requirements. I have written everything down in the PRD. I need runnable mock and short explanation on key parts. Great. If you can do that, so you come here, you gave your context, and that's all you need to tell it. Not IFRS 16. I just copy here, and I can copy this prompt from here to here. Or I can just say these things. I can just talk loud to the model, and it will do it. And that's it. It will take my PRD, and it will start creating my front-end mocks. Once the mocks are ready, what you will do is you will go and create the real code. You will say, hey, I got it. Now this Supabase thing, what is this Supabase? This is the database. You remember that? That thing where we store all the tables and everything? The database. So now I will say, hey, let's create a real app. And I will go and create a real app. And I will just write this prompt which says, hey, take these mocks or these designs and now go and create a complete mock for myself. It comes back and says, hey, I have a goal. The prototype your previous session already exists. Of course, I tried it before. So it has found also it is trying to become smart. This file covers a lot of P0s. Would you like to preview the existing prototype to verify matches or extend it to something new? Start fresh with redesign. I will say 3. I'm starting fresh. It also find out that I did the same thing yesterday. So it is saying, hey, you already used your tokens, take them. But I'm saying, let's start from fresh so that all the PMs can follow along. So just copy this prompt right now in Claude and you will get your mocks. It will not be a fully functional backend. It's just the front end right now. And with this prompt, you will be able to create the whole front end. Your kitchen will be ready. I can place orders and they will get some kind of dummy food. So Kamal will get like a plate and there will be a dummy chola bhatura on it, but she can't eat it. It will be the same. And if she eats it, it's just made up of plastic. Okay. Those are called mocks. So our goal is like, hey, we can go in and create the mocks first. And we can iterate on the first front end, right? Is our restaurant ready? Are the tables looking good? Is this our menu? Everything we can create the whole front end first. Good. So that's the first part. Then for the back end, now your problem is, how can I create this in the backend? It's very sophisticated. I need an agent. The agent need to look at a lease document, extract the content on it, put what the lease terms are, and then create a report that we can fill to compliance. Good. For that, the tool I'm going to use is this tool called N8N. Everybody know about N8N? If you don't know about N8N, we will give you a training. Our team can somebody put the link in the summary to getting started on N8N guide. See, I'm super cool. I have superpowers. I just say that and it will happen. Let's see. Maybe one day, agents. But can we put a link on summary slide, which takes us to our getting started on N8N guide? Okay, in this N8N, you can create flows. So what you can do is you can create agents. So I will create an agent and I can connect it to a model. So all I do is I click the plus sign. So now I'm creating the backend. This is the messy kitchen that we have. And I can just select an agent and I can say, hey, agent, here is your OpenAI chat model. I can give it a machine learning model to do all the thinking for me or doing all the cool stuff. And It's ready to go. I can connect memory and tools to it, and I can connect more agents to it. In this one, I can write what I want it to do. So I can come here, I can or add an option, and I can write a system message that your job is to take a contract, a lease contract, take a lease contract and generate the data needed. Generate the data needed to fill IFRS 16 form. Good. So I have given it some basic instructions. By the way, while I'm doing this, so this is ready. And if you can create this, then you can also connect other agents to it. So this is my first agent. I can create even more agents and connect this as a tool. So then I can create more complex workflows like this one. So I created the first agent. I connected it to my model. So this agent just does an orchestration or plans. This agent actually goes and finds what I need to extract from the lease or even an NDA or a master service agreement. And this one actually goes and extract those values, and then it will respond. These two webhooks are important. That's this piece, the API piece. So I can go and write and chat with this here, but I want it to respond to this front end, right? This backend should talk to this front end. Remember that table and that transaction, that handshake? This webhook is a handshake. This is the address that you need to tell your front end folks, these guys, that, hey, when actually Kamal wants the Chola Bhatura, they are here, right? This is the bill which you need to get it from. So you need to copy this, and that I will show you in the next prompt. How can you connect your this backend in N8N to your front end, which you have created here? By the way, while I was talking to you, my whole app is ready. So I can see that my app is here and it's ready to go. But these are only mocks. This is only front end. It doesn't read anything. It will give me some dummy data, but it is ready. I can actually look and feel. I can talk to customers. I can show them that this is how it would look. So this shows me that these are all the properties I have rented. These are the assets. These are my monthly. This is my AI confidence on extracting these terms. This is what is needed to report to IFRS 16. When is this commencement? What is the lease term? What is the renewal options? So it has extracted all these things and I can export them to PDF for filing. Good. So my basic app is ready in 10 minutes and I can go and do stuff. I can also upload a new contract and get new stuff if I want to. So I can just try it and make you feel like I have built something. So if I go here, I can take a lease. You can see a lot of my compliance document because I'm filing my taxes. So you can put a contract like this, or you can put actually a lease. So I'm just going to put it, and then you can click a button. Although I put an NDA, it shows you, and it says extraction failed. We could not process it. Maybe scanned image or text. It is not a machine readable. So right now it has a lot of problems because it's just a mock. Great. How can we make it work? We have to connect it to backend where we have touched a lot of things and we have built the whole thing in the backend where we have the logic to extract the file from PDF. We have agents which can parse this information. We have agents which can find what needs to be extracted from this contract and also extract it and send it back. Good. So we have written everything we want to say here and this app needs to do. Good. So the next prompt, what you do is you copy this from here, this webhook, you copy this address, and let's just update this app. So now what you do is you go, you have a prompt, you can give prompt number 2, but in prompt number 3, you see this address, send webhook integration, send post request to the following webhook URL. Okay. I can go and set it for this webhook URL and give this prompt, and that's it. And that will connect your backend to front end. And now both can talk to each other. So I have already done that yesterday. All you have to do is just pass these 3 prompts. The 4th prompt is just a good front end table output, but 3 prompts is all you need. The first one creates the mocks. The second one creates the UI and starts storing information in a database. And the third one actually connects the backend to front end. Good. So now I have created this whole tool with these 3 prompts. You can see my journey. I'm happy to share the whole journey. So first prompt gave me what you got. This is my second prompt. I got the database. I got everything ready. Third prompt, I went ahead and integrated with my backend. And let me show you how it works. So I can go to this one and I can come in and say preview. This is my app. And when I run this one, it will go and talk to my backend also. Okay, so I can come here. This is my backend in NA10. And I can just, for testing purpose, I can just go and say, hey, my backend, execute workflow. And that's it. So this backend is now ready, waiting for a front end to come in. I can go and add contract. Oh, really? This one. So this one, I also published it. So I went ahead and said, hey, you know what? Let's just go lease compliance. I have published it here. So also you can go and use Netlify plugin. So in this one, I create it and then I go and publish it. So all of it, you can also use it. So this is a fully functional website now. I have went ahead and published it also. And I will show you when I call this one, how it calls my workflow, which is right here. Good. And you can get this link. You can also try it while I'm trying it. But let me try first and then I give you the fun stuff to go do yourself. So I have published this app, and this app can now go and talk to my front end. And if I take a contract, let's take an loan agreement or an NDA. Okay, I take this DX, or let's just take something simple which we can process faster. There was one which I tried yesterday. Because I'm running short on time. Where is this gone? Let's try this one. Let's see if this works. Okay, you open it, you're waiting here, and when I press the button, you see that I can also parse it. I can see it on my front end, the document, I can read it. Last time I was saying I can't read it, but now after third prompt, I can read it. And I can say extract key terms, and I can analyze contract. When it says network code server, I say retry, same error, because I forgot to say execute workflow here. So now I'm waiting. And let's try one more time. Great. Now you see it started working. The code is here. It's working on the orchestration layer. You can see I got the same DX NDA, and we got problem key extraction agent, no prompt specified. So this somehow we deleted something. I have the prompt. Let's try one more time. So you can say analyze contract one more time, and you will start getting. And now I have to say execute workflow. Once you test it, you can just publish it. So you need not to press this button every time, but this is for testing. I wanted to show you live. But once you have tested it, you can just click the button and it will go here. It will analyze things. It will extract terms. It will extract key terms now, and you will see a response here in few seconds. Okay, then you can see that all this thing you can build, workflow executed. I got my results that came from it. You can keep trying that. You can try a lease contract. You can try different things. You can keep changing your playbooks also. So this is where what you want to extract from these contracts, you can change that here and it will do the work. All this can be built in 30 minutes to 1 hour. Obviously, it might take me 3 hours, 4 hours before, but you can build something like this without knowing how to code is the idea. Okay, then if all of you can do that, then what is left in this world for you? Okay, so we can build the front ends in Cloud Code, we can build the backend in n8n, and we can marry them together. That's the lab I tried to show you today. Then I wanted to talk about these frameworks, but I don't have time. So maybe you want to do my course. Or maybe you want to do our course where we talk about these ideas. But let me give you one idea, which is this idea that, hey, this is the cost of error. So you want to see the jobs where the cost of error is low and type of knowledge needed is explicit. You have this information, what the compliance need, what the compliance requirements are, when a good or bad document looks like. You have a good standard. And if the cost of error of producing something like that is low, you want to automate those things first. So this quadrant you want to go after first. Then you can choose between this or that. I generally go here, or you can go here where you have like cost of error is low, but technical information. And this is where most of the humans should live, or you should try moving to the jobs where the cost of error is high and you need more technical or implicit uh, uh, technical information to solve problems. Good. This is another framework which I will talk next time. Hopefully, this session was useful. The idea was that what is the current state of the world? I tried to explain it to you, which is like why these agents have become so good. What are the underneath technologies? Then I shared you how can you actually go and build stuff in Claude Code for front end, connect it to an n8n backend. I will explain you why I chose n8n for backend, while I could have done everything in Claude Code, why I still prefer that. I can answer that question if you have. And then I didn't spend too much time on this, which is what can you build? But I wanted to land the idea that building is not that hard. And with simple 3 or 4 prompts and a PRD, you can actually create working mocks. And if you have working mocks, you can take them to production. If you want to take this setup to production, all you have to do is go to your n8n flow and then just set it up. Once you tested it, it started working for you. You can go and say publish. And once you publish, then you need not to press this button every time, this execute workflow. Now it is published. And now all of you with that link I shared. And here, after the 4 steps, all you have to do is go to customize, connect, and do this Netlify connector. So Netlify is a third-party service which allowed you to take the code you have on your machine. So this front end is on our machine, right? I want to put it on some cloud where all of you can access or this website. So you can go to Netlify, connect it, and just write a simple prompt, say, hey, publish my front end app to production. Use Netlify connector. And that is it. It will go and publish this and give you a URL, which I used here. And now you can give this link to your customers, to your friends, to your family, and they can actually try your stuff, start giving you feedback. That's all I had for today. I will take 2 questions from here, and then I will take all the questions from Scrumler for next 15 minutes. And I will give you 2 or 3 things to take away. One is building code is a solved problem or is getting to be a solved problem by the end of 2026. So trial building stuff every day and you will see where we are and you will be able to move it. While you do that, take on courses on basic how to use Claude Code, basic Claude Code, and Claude Code has a good course on their website, which is, I think, building with Claude Code. So take that course and start building on Claude Code, these front-end things. Take a course, which is also open, how to build agents on n8n. And if you get stuck, obviously join our course, which we are not trying to sell here. And then I will say, create a community around you, if you can, which helps you when you get stuck. The most people drop from this building line when they try to do something and it fails, and then they don't know how much time it will take to fix it. It is a journey. Take it like a journey and try to create your community where people can help you at least get out of that blocker you have in like 24 to 48 hours. And that's what I think you should pay for. And don't pay for basic building, but pay for that community and that support. And if nobody provides you that support, then don't pay for it. Rest everything you should be able to do on your own. Why build as a PM? I think it's just so much empowerment now that you can gain and so much leverage you have in next 5 years if you can code basic backend and front end stuff and connect them, because you can go to customers and while they are talking to you or within 3 to 4 hours, you can go and show them a working sample. That is the superpower I always had, and now all of you can have it. And that single thing is, I think, the job security, the income multiplier, the life satisfaction, all that will come from that single thing, which is I can create a front end, I can connect it to back end, and I can show something working to customers within like 4 or 5 hours. Great. If you,
Time.
if I know, I know I'm over time today. Last thing I would land is that if you are interested, we have started our Substack channel where we will be sharing how to do this lab step by step. And if you have not signed up for that, please sign up for that. The Substack link is right here because my team is telling me, say, talk about Substack at least. So this is our Substack. And if you have not signed up, please sign up for our Substack. It's a very nominal annual fees. And for first, I think if you're part of this community, you will get links to this Substack anyways. If you have not signed up, please sign up for our Substack. That will allow you to get access to all the labs that we release every week and all the material we do, and also give you access to papers and give you access to our job portal. With that said, here is our YouTube channel and here is our course. And we are giving 2 courses for 1. And you can subscribe to get loaded. We are going to remove, if you have subscribed it, if you're not part of our Substack, we are going to remove this channel. If you signed up for all Friday free sessions and we send you invites, that is going to stop if you are not signed up for our Substack. So that's the last thing I want to land. Here is our free sessions. This is Substack, this is Slack, YouTube, Nextroll, and nobody gave a link to Claude Code or the NA10 tutorial. So maybe I can do that when I'm done, or that will be part of our Substack newsletter. Okay, team, thank you for staying back. It's always fun to see all of you. I will see you next Friday. Till then, bye. Take care.